Came out with the new numbers for 2025. Let's go over that today. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I'm a retired manager from the Social Security Administration. I help people every day make sure they're getting everything they're entitled to from all things Social Security, retirement, Medicare, Medicaid, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, disability, all the rest of it. This is a live Q&A as well. This is just going to be a live Q&A only because I had tons of questions yesterday. But because of the new numbers coming out, I wanted to just spend a few minutes. I'm only going to talk about this for probably about 5 minutes or so about the new numbers for 2025 for all things Medicare. And then I'm going to open it up for the rest of the hour. So if you're watching this later on the recording, it's like, wow, this guy talks about the Part B increase for an hour. Wow, this guy is long-winded. Well, I am long-winded, but no, I'm not only going to talk about the Medicare for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get into your questions because it looks like we already got a bunch of questions out there. And the first thing I want to do, the most important thing I want to do perhaps is say happy birthday to all the Marines out there. Hoorah, Semper Fi, Leathernecks, all the rest of it. I was an old Marine Corps sergeant myself, so I don't look a day over 212. So it's pretty good being 249 years old. So I'm going to keep at it here. All right. So let's go ahead and get at it. 2025, you probably already saw in the news, it's the Part B premium is $185. So $10.30 increase. COLA was increased by 2.5%. So some people, the 2.5 is going to be, 1% after they pay for their Part B increase. I wish it was going to be more, but 2.5%. And I did a video on all of the changes for Social Security. I'm going to talk about Medicare today, but I did a video talking about the fact sheet for all things Social Security, talking about, FICA tax and the max FICA tax and substantial gainful activity and the annual earnings limit and all that kind of stuff, monthly earnings limit. I did a video on that earlier, but I'm sure I'll probably have a bunch of questions today about all of that. The Part B deductible. So if you have a Medicare Advantage, not really an issue for you, but if you have a Medicare supplement plan, a Plan N or a Plan G, this is relevant to you because if you have a Plan N or a Plan G, you know that you pay the deductible that last year was $240. This year it's $257. So if you have a Plan G Medicare supplement plan and you have a $1 million procedure, get a couple of Band-Aids at a hospital, that's probably what they'll charge. But anyway, last year you paid the $240 and Medicare and whatever insurance company you picked up paid the other $999,000, whatever. Next year, you're going to pay $257 and then Medicare and everybody picks up all the rest. There's a lot of changes for next year for Medicare Advantage. Close to 2 million people have had their Medicare Advantage plans canceled. Part D as well. Medicare supplements, you're good. G and N and F, you're good. You might want to check to see if there's any cheaper plans for next year. You can always switch if, depends on your state and how healthy you are and all the rest of it. So if you want to switch, maybe find a cheaper G with another company, make sure you reach out to my partners at Chapter. They can review all the plans in your area. Even if you've already changed your Medicare Advantage or your Part D and you want a second opinion or you're not sure whether you did the right thing, you can give them a call and they can check out everything for you for free. And the great thing about them is they have that member success team. I had someone on here last week. In case you have any billing issues next year, you need to find a new doctor, you've got any issues using your over-the-counter, they help with all that with all their members. Okay, IRMAA. Income-related monthly adjustment amount. Those are the people that pay an extra premium for their Part B. They don't pay. They're not. If you have an IRMAA, you're not paying $185. You're probably paying $200, $300, $400, $500 a month for your Part B premium. That depends on your earnings from 2 years prior. And the new numbers last year was 103,000. Now it's jumped up a few thousand to 106,000, 212,000 if you're married. Part A deductible, again, if you have a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan, not really an issue because they cover all the rest of it. But if you don't, if you're, as we sometimes say, if you're running naked, if all you have is Part A and Part B, then you're going to have to cover everything. The Part B 20% co-insurance, and also this Part A inpatient hospital deductible. Next year it's $1,676, so it's gone up a little bit, and that could be several times a year. The Part B, that $200 one, what was it exactly? $257. That is one time a year. The inpatient Part A deductible, you could pay that 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year every time you go into the hospital. There's some kind of it's the government. There's always some strange little exceptions in there. All right, so that's it for Part B. And let's, like I said, there was tons of questions yesterday in my live, and I answered as many as I possibly could. But we ran out of time, so I'm going to try to keep this to an hour, and I'm going to get through as many questions as possible. So let's jump right into it. Hey, Debbie, my husband passed away. It was 58 years old and continue to work full time. I will be 60 next year. Will I still be able to work full time, making my current salary of 50K and get his Social Security? No, because you're taking those benefits early. You are subject to the annual earnings limit, and the annual earnings limit for 2025 is $23,400. So basically, every $2 you go over that amount, so you're going to be basically $25,000 over. So they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. So, you might be able to receive some benefits. So if your strategy is to go ahead and get as much survivor benefits as possible while you're letting your own benefits increase, it still might be a good idea to get those survivor benefits. You got to run the numbers in your particular situation, if that's your strategy. So even, if you're making them 20,000, they're going to hold back, if you're making 25,000 over, they're going to hold back $12,500. If your monthly check is 2,000, so they're basically hold back about 6 or 7 checks. So you'll get half of the year. So take that half a year, stick it in the, in the bank or whatever. And so that might be a strategy. But if you want to not take it early because you're going to only get a few months, then you need to wait till you stop working or wait till you hit your full retirement age where the annual earnings limit no longer applies. White, pause. Can I get SSI plus survivor benefits? Are they rolled into one lump sum? I was given SSI when I applied for SSDI. Married 10 years, husband had left, divorced him, never remarried. He's dead at 62. I'm 64. SSI and survivor benefits, yes. It really depends on how much survivor benefits are. SSI is supplemental security income. It's the welfare-based program, and the max you can get on that is $943. So if your survivor benefits or your disability benefits or your retirement benefits or your spouse benefits or whatever it is, if it's under $943, let's say it's $500, you're getting $500 from survivor benefits. And then if you're qualified for SSI, it's a welfare-based program, limited income, limited resources, then you get another $443 from SSI. So yes, it is possible. But if you're getting over basically $943 from SSI, then no, or excuse me, from survivor benefits, then no, you cannot get SSI. Yeah, and they also come mostly in the same check. All right, depends when you start one and the other and stuff. So. All right, let's see. I've been collecting divorced. Sorry, I talk fast sometimes, and I apologize. So if you miss something, just rewind and put me on slow, or pause me, or put me on mute. My wife wish she had that remote control, but I've got so many questions. I want to get to as many as possible, so I apologize. I've been collecting divorced survivor benefits since I was 62. I'm waiting to collect my own Social Security when I turn 70, which is in September. Estimate is 700 to 900 more at 70, 69 in 4 months, significantly less. Yeah, every month you take your Social Security benefits early, it's reduced a little bit, not usually very much, $5, $10, $20 or something like that. So, but some people, for $5, $10, $20 a month, a reduction, you get those 3, 4, 5 checks ahead of the game. So it really depends. So in your particular, yeah, so you're receiving survivor benefits. So you're doing it great. Awesome. You did your homework when you did this. A lot of people don't recognize this, is that if you are collecting spouse benefits and your spouse or your ex-spouse, divorced spouse, is still out there alive and kicking, you're just receiving regular spouse benefits. And you have to file for your own benefits in that case. You have to file for your own benefits, and then you file for spouse benefit. That changed in 2016. So effective 2016 and up until now, that's how it works. But survivor benefits is an exception. So what you did is you started collecting your survivor benefits and you didn't touch your own, and you're letting your own increase. So awesome. It doesn't work every time because it really depends on your benefit amount, but it looks as though, yeah, you sound like you did it right. Um, but what a lot of people mess up is they miss that. And Social Security in my office had about 100 employees that worked in my office, and one of our employees worked this what's called a WIB rib list for people on widows benefits who can make more money on retirement benefits. So that's your case. Remember, those benefits stop increasing based on delaying at the month you turn 70. So what I would do, um, you know, uh, I would run the numbers, and you can always to get the definitive numbers is set up an appointment with Social Security and say, hey, if I get it, this many months early, how much is going to be reduced? If I wait till my, full 70, how much is going to be reduced? And then you just kind of play with the numbers. Says, okay, well, it's going to be reduced by $25, but I'm going to get, $8,000 in advance. 8,000 divided by $25 usually comes out to 14 years. So it might be a good idea to get while the getting's good, but it really depends on you. I am 62 on disability and my husband is 58. He wants me to check if I would get more money drawn off his Social Security instead of mine. Um, Possibly, but you can't do anything until he turns 62 years old and files for benefits. It sounds like you're still married, so he has to file for benefits before you can start getting benefits on his record. If you're divorced, you don't have that person doesn't have to be your divorced spouse doesn't have to be receiving benefits. That's a one that a lot of people miss. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. So take and took. Thank you for filling people in about yeah. Sometimes before I start YouTube, the questions disappear. This time they didn't. So strange. Um, let's see. My ex and I have permanent and sole custody of our grandson. I'm 62, drawing my Social Security. Are there any benefits for my grandson under my Social Security? My ex is not drawing Social Security. Um, in order for a grandson, this is one of those laws I think they need to change to make this a simple yes, but unfortunately, no, it's not simple. If your grandson's parents are both either disabled or deceased, then possibly yes. Then yes. If you adopt your grandson, not a permanent sole custody, you have to actually adopt. So either adopt or your grandson's parents, both parents have to be deceased or disabled in order for them to collect benefits on your record. So yeah, there's so many people out there that are taking care of their grandchildren. I think that should change, but I don't think it's going to change. Yeah. So unfortunately, let's see here. Pete in Hawaii, spelled Hawaii correctly. I was stationed at Marine Corps at Kaneohe Bay in Camp Smith, Hawaii. There, I have been on I'm a Kama. I get my Kama'aina discount, right? I have been on my former husband's Social Security benefits. He died in 2022, but I wonder if taxes for him were filed in 2021. Can I get an earnings report on him? Maybe have it adjusted. Um, if you're currently receiving benefits, yeah, they should be able to give you that freedom of information and everything. And if he's deceased and you're receiving benefits and your benefit amount is determined on what his benefit amount was. So yeah, I would definitely check it out and have them give you a SEQI or a DEQI. It's called the summary earnings record or a detailed earnings record, and make sure they don't try to charge you. They charge people. So like if you're applying for Metro Police or something, police department, the police departments throughout the country make you do a background check, and part of that background check is go down to Social Security and get a 10-year work history. And Social Security has determined that that's not their job, is to provide stuff like that for background. So they charge you like $100, over $100 for like a couple pieces of paper. So it's a pretty awesome scam, I guess. But I can see why they do it. So, but sometimes they try to charge you, and you just have to tell them, hey, this is program related. When I filed, I wasn't given that detail, and I found something else. And so, I would fight and say, yeah. And the problem with this, Martin O'Malley, the Commissioner of Social Security, if you're listening, y'all need to make the policy a lot easier for people that are trying to get their work history specifically for a program related issue. Yeah, so, but sometimes Social Security employees kind of fight you on that, try to make you pay for it. So, what do you think the RSC considers to be a high wage earner and someone who is near retirement who will not be affected by any changes? I plan on collecting next year. I have no idea. So, this is a video I did yesterday. I'm just because it looks as though the Republicans are going to take the House. They're going to have their 218 seat majority, and they had a Republican study committee report that came out a few months ago, and I talked about it for a couple of minutes a few months ago about what Social Security, what type of proposals it has for Social Security. But since it looks like they're actually going to take the House, they're going to have the power to implement it. I figured I'd go back and say, okay, well, here's what it is. And they're talking about means testing benefits, particularly spouse benefits for high wage earners. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, high wage earner, $10 an hour, $500 an hour. We have no idea. And none of this is going to happen for anybody near retirement age. Yeah, exactly. So it's very, 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 very extremely vague and modest. And the other thing was modest increases in the retirement age, right? What is modest? Modest for someone that has a desk job is, 75 years old, easy job. Modest for, like someone like my father drove an 18-wheeler. Yeah. Yeah. Any 6 months is that's not modest. That's a big, get behind the wheel and drive. If you're 62 and drawing, so, but this is my commitment to y'all in my semi-retirement here is to keep an eye on all this stuff and help y'all get everything you're entitled to and use all my experience, running the third business office in the country to, help y'all navigate the bureaucracy and all the nightmare. So I'm gonna keep up on all that. I'm going to keep up on all that. So, and I'm 100% trying to stay apolitical. I have my own opinions, but y'all don't want to hear it. As we used to say in the Marine Corps, if I want your opinion, I'd beat it out of you, or if I want your opinion, I'd give it to you. Or opinions are, yeah, there's a million things Marine Corps says anyway. But what I believe, y'all don't care politically. I'm going to talk about policy. Here's a policy proposal. Here's the good part of it. Here's the bad part about it. What do y'all think? So I'm going to try to stay political. If I don't, please call me out at it and say, yeah, you'll be less political. Okay. All right. Hello. I need help with picking a new Medicare plan. Perfect. Call those guys right there. Chapter. I look for places because everybody was always asking, and I heard so many horror stories about, these bad actors out there. So I looked throughout the country for a place that's going to help y'all out. Obviously, it's free. And they've got the best people and they're 100% neutral. And I've talked about how neutral they are. They review every plan in your area. They've got that member success team. It's most of the time, agents, they sign you up and then they forget about you. This one doesn't. So yeah, call them up and tell them Ed said hi. They are working today. They're going to work 7 days a week until December 7th. Remember, you have until December 7th. So please, this is a community effort here. Reach out to those around you because there's close to 2 million people that have had their plans canceled, and many more have had their plans downgraded to such an extent. If they just read the details, they would cancel the plan and switch to another one. And there's a whole bunch of people that their plans were canceled, but the company that they had just switched them to another plan of their choosing. So without your, they informed you, but you probably throw the letter away because it's just like another form letter about Medicare. So if I apply for Social Security begin in January and work a seasonal job making $3,000 a month for 7 months, will I receive benefits in 2025? So that's 7 to 21,000. Yep, you're good. As long as you stay under the annual earnings limit of next year's the $23,400. Yeah, you're good. So if you go over that, then they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Let's see here. I'm on widow's benefits. Why did they take my new husband's SSI? SSI is the welfare. Oh, okay. So, all right. A lot of people mess up and, they don't, they think SSI means Social Security income, but it's actually SSI is the welfare-based program, supplemental security income. So why did they take my new husband's SSI? So if your husband was on SSI, the welfare-based benefit, and you married that person, because you just said you're the new husband, then you're bringing those widow's benefits into the household, and they might be over the limit. That's looking like something that's really going to be a topic of interest, trying to stay neutral, is SSI and disability. During the last Trump administration, that was a big focus, and every presidential budget that came through was limitations and cutting back on SSI and SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance. So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to keep you all aware of what's going forward. And I'm old Marine Corps, gung ho, positive. I'm whatever I believe politically. I hope he keeps his promises in terms of don't touch Social Security, but you have to touch Social Security. So a promise of don't touch Social Security is a bad promise, which he hasn't promised. He's but a bunch of other things, but I'm yeah, I'll stay neutral. I hope he succeeds in making it solvent for longer. That's what I want to see. I want to see Social Security without cuts to go on for another 100, 200 years. But let's see if okay, all right, I got that one. Anyone worried about Trump doing anything to Social Security? It would not happen first term. He wants a second term, even though he will be almost 85. First term, he won't do anything, made people. This is his second term. He can't run again. So, yeah, that was ended during, FDR, FDR ran what, 4 times? Yeah, this is Trump's second term. All right. Deborah, thank you for service. You're welcome. Thank you. File for Social Security at 62. My husband at 75. His pay is more than twice mine. Can I do over and file to receive benefit? You can't really do a do-over because you're already receiving benefits, and you have to file for benefits on your own record anyway. But you can just file another claim. You can file a spouse claim if your current spouse's benefits is twice yours. And be careful. Again, if any of this doesn't apply to you, fine, but take the information and look for people around you that this does apply to you. So Maria, hopefully it sounds like she did the right thing on looking her benefit amount. So when you're looking at a spouse's benefit to see if you're entitled to those benefits, you look at the PIA, not the MBA. The MBA is the monthly benefit amount. That's, you look in your direct deposit or your government check, which nobody gets checks anymore, but you look at your check and it says, X amount of money. That's not the number you look at. You have to look at your PIA, your primary insurance amount, which is your benefit amount at your full retirement age. Those are the numbers you have to compare to see if your benefit amount is less than half of your spouse's. So there's a lot of people out there that look at the MBA, their actually check amount, and then they say, oh, yours is not twice as mine, so I guess I can't get benefits. No, you took yours early and that one took late, or both took early, or one's got Medicare taken out and the other one. So you're looking at the wrong numbers. So you have to get the PIA. And how do you do that? Just call the 800 number and say, hey, here's how much is my PA and how much is my spouse's, divorce spouse's, or whatever the case may be. And they'll tell you. And if there's more money there, they will schedule you an appointment. Take a month or so. They're so backed up, and they'll get you that more money. Do you think Social Security will go away for former spouses? That's one of the things in the Republican Study Committee that they recommended but it's spouses of it's means tested. So hopefully, there's a few solutions to Social Security in the long term. The solution I prefer, which is increasing the FICA tax for everybody, us probably 99.9% out there, you pay FICA taxes, Social Security tax on everything you earn. But if you make over, next year it's $176,100, you don't pay FICA Social Security anymore. So if you're making $2 million, you're paying, 1% on FICA or something, but us schmoes are paying 15%. So I say smash the cap, but that's not going to happen now. So one of the things out there is raising retirement age or increasing FICA tax for everybody. Instead of us paying 15%, maybe 16%, cutting benefits, making benefits means tested so that, if you're making other money, you don't get benefits at all. And so I'm going to keep an eye on all that. And, but those are some of the solutions, not the ideal in my estimation, but those are some of the things floating out there. Kathy, I applied for spousal thanks to your videos. All right, success story. Again, remember, it's not my videos. I'm just sitting here, blurb, just, my little diatribes going off. And it's all the people that clicked like and subscribed and shared and stuff like that where the video got to you. So this is a community effort. So thank everybody. Kathy got some money because y'all. The Social Security rep rushed through the app, so no time for questions. Yeah, that's the quoted amount of $200 yearly. Can't imagine it monthly spousal amount. Yeah, yearly. Yeah, they never give yearly amounts. Yeah, it's when the MCS, the modernized claim system, the computer system punches out, it says you're going to get X amount per month. Yeah, I've never heard them do it yearly. But you'll if once they adjudicate the claim at the office, then you'll receive a letter in the mail, decision letter, and it'll tell you how much it is and all that kind of stuff. But it goes by snail mail, so you'll probably see the benefit in your bank account before you actually get the letter. So just keep an eye on your bank account, and it'll probably popping up here soon. So awesome. For a spouse who took early retirement on her own record with a discount, then switched to early spousal benefits with a discount, does it also reduce their survivor benefits with the same discount, discount? So it really depends on when you actually start survivor benefits. So some people before their retirement age, if they're receiving spouse benefits and benefits on their own record, and their spouse dies, their benefits are kind of suspended. And if you want them to start, survivor benefits early, you can do it. If you're already your full retirement age, then no, it doesn't affect what you get from survivor benefits. So survivor benefits are the weird calculation. It depends on how old you are and whether you're under your full retirement age or over your full retirement age. It depends on how much your deceased spouse was receiving, if they were filed after their full retirement age or never filed, or whether they got disability, or whether they filed early. So yeah, there's a lot of variables in there. I wish survivor benefits would be easier to calculate, but yeah. Trump's not getting rid of Social Security. That was propaganda. Yeah. Trump is okay. All right. Got a lot of political type stuff. We'll try to stick to. Very worried about incoming administration destroying DAC benefits. I know a disabled person under 22 who is too proud to apply. If he does apply now, would he be grandfathered in if they change the rules later? Yeah, again, the Social Security, across the board cuts that are already, before this election, they were already set to take place. We're talking about anywhere from 17 to 20% cuts by 2034, 2035. So that if we don't do anything, then everybody's benefits going to be cut. That's the Congressional Budget Office and every, the Social Security trustees report. You can go online and read the trustees report. And that's, even before this election, that's what we're talking about. But please take and took, too proud to apply for disabled adult child. So disabled adult children benefits are if your parent is receiving retirement or disability benefits, you can file for benefits on their record. If you became, one of the categories is if you became disabled before the age of 22, then you can file for disability on the parent's record, and then you essentially receive benefits for the rest of your life if you're still considered disabled going forward. So do I have to pre-qualify for medically if I change from one Plan G company to a different company? It really depends on your state and special enrollment periods and all the rest of it, but normally, yes. So reach out to chapter there, and it doesn't hurt to try. You can change your Medicare supplement plans any time of the year. So if you've got a G or an N or whatever the case may be, you can shop around for another one. And it's always good to do it, when you're healthy. But basically the health underwriting is, you call insurance broker. I prefer brokers rather than agents. Sometimes people use them interchangeably. An agent, a captive agent, works for one company. So it's like the old Henry Ford thing. You can have any color car you want as long as it's black, right? So if you call them, they're going to say, hey, this company, I happen to work for this company, so this is the only plan. But if your broker works for you and they look for all plans in your area, so chapter has just brokers. Sometimes they use the name interchangeably, but they're brokers. And so they'll look at all the plans that are offering G, and the health underwriting is basically asking you for 20 to 30, 35 questions. Have you had, are you anticipating having any planning? Are you scheduled to have any surgeries soon? Do you have any heart issues? All kinds of different stuff. And some companies are easier. Some companies are a little bit different. Some companies only look 3 years back. Other companies, oh, I had a heart attack 5 years ago. And the chapter people know this. Oh, this particular company, they look 5 years back, so it's not going to be good for this company. But this other company, they only look 3 years back, so they don't care about what happens 5 years ago. So, but in terms of the others, the Medicare Advantage and the Part D prescription drug plan, this is the time to change it. This is the annual enrollment period from October 15th to December 7th. So, and we're slowly getting down to the deadline because we'll have Thanksgiving, and then the last 10 days, everybody starts calling. So it's good to get it out of the way. And if you've already switched it to another plan with someone else, you can still switch. You can call chapter, whoever, get a second opinion. Hey, was this the best one for me? I just want to double check. And if they find you another one, that you can actually switch. You can technically, legally switch your Medicare Advantage plan every day from October 15th to December 7th. And the one that's the very last one on December 7th, that's the one that takes. But yeah, please don't switch your plan every single day until December 7th. So we should be able to work as much as we want when early drawing Social Security. Yeah, the reason it was started when FDR, 1935, when he started Social Security, Social Security was supposed to be a replacement for work. And if you're working, then it's not replacing anything. So that's why the early retirement limit. But once you hit your full retirement age, then yeah, you can make $1 billion a month and collect Social Security benefits. So survival benefits I receive, is there more after a certain age? If you're already receiving those benefits, no, other than regular, cost of living adjustment. So once you start receiving benefits and you continue to receive those benefits, then that's your number. Sounds like with the Social Security earnings limit, they are keeping people at low income on purpose. Um, um, well, yeah, if you're going to be collecting, Social Security benefits, yeah, again, it's, there's a limit. But again, once you hit your full retirement age, there's no more limit anymore. So this particular company, I try to avoid company names, but there it is. Took away all the transportation, so many downgrades. Unfortunately, my primary care physician only accepts that for insurance. Remember, Lisa, a lot of people miss this, is a big mistake, that they have this particular company, and that particular company downgraded their particular plan, but that company, I guarantee you, has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different plans in your area. So they might have downgraded your particular plan, and then they built another plan, for next year to entice people to enroll, and they hope you don't check and get the better plan because they want to charge you more and make more money off you and stuff. So yeah, these health insurance companies don't get to be billion-dollar health insurance companies by being stupid. And they know, what last I've seen, about 70% of people don't even review their plans. So the companies can do whatever they want because they figure most people don't review their plans. So, they'll make more money off of you. But we're going to be smarter in that, and we're going to check our plans, right? Mary, I retired under my ex-spouse's record at my full retirement age. Former spouse retired at 70 years past 4 years past full retirement age. Okay. At his demise, will I receive twice the 50% amount I'm currently receiving, or the amount he gets currently? Good question, Mary. Awesome question. A lot of people miss this. Social Security employees miss this. A lot of Social Security employees, I've been trying to find another Social Security employee, retired Social Security employee, to help, because I get so many questions and I just can't. It's just basically me and my son that are doing this. He's helped me with all the technical type stuff. Chapter helps with Medicare. And I've been looking for a retired Social Security person to help me with all the questions, but I haven't been able to find it. One of the reasons is their knowledge after, being 20, 30 years, they let the computer system do everything, and they forget how the sausage is made. So anyway, so on this one right here, let's see. Okay. So, so your former spouse is receiving benefits, and or you're receiving benefits from your former spouse, and because he is still out there alive and kicking, you're receiving up to 50% of his benefits. Let's say 50%. If anything should happen to him, you will receive 100% of his benefits plus the delayed retirement credits. Current or spouses that are receiving from a living spouse only get up to 50%. They do not get those delayed retirement credits. The 50% is based on how much they receive at their full retirement age, not how much they're actually receiving because of the delayed retirement credits. But when you become a surviving spouse, then you get the delayed retirement credits. So if you're receiving 50%, then if he should pass away, your check will double plus another 24% on top of that. So if you're receiving 50%, so let's say $1,000. So let's say the benefit amount is his benefit amount is $1,000, and you're receiving $500 from his, minus your own and stuff. But anyway, so you're receiving $500. That's half. He passes away, you'll get $1,000 plus $240. So you'll get $1,240. So that's a beautiful thing. But obviously he has to be deceased for you to get that. But anyway, I just spent 2 hours on the phone with Charles Moran. I have traditional Medicare Plan G and Part D. Charles is awesome and saved me approximately $100 a month for my same coverage. I'm beyond thrilled. Awesome. Awesome. So Charles at Chapter Medicare. Awesome. Good deal. I like it. There we go. I think if all the money we've got, if all the money y'all have got for people by sharing and, reaching out to your friends, yeah, we're talking, hundreds of millions of dollars and stuff. So awesome. Good deal. Good deal. I was married for 30 years and divorced. I made more than my ex. I'm 63 years old. I retired from my full-time job, working part-time, and plan to file for Social Security at 67. Do I get spousal benefits? It depends on how much benefit your benefit is. You're married 30 years, so you obviously fulfill the 10-year marriage requirement, but your benefit amount has to be less than your spouse's. And then, it sounds like so you're still married. Okay, you're divorced. I'm sorry. So if you're already receiving your benefits and your ex-spouse is at least, if your ex-spouse is at least 62 years old, then you can file for benefits on his record. But his or her benefit has to be twice your benefit amount. And your next question is going to be, well, how do I know whether his or her benefit amount is twice my benefit amount? Easy. Call Social Security Administration and say, hey, I want to file for spouse benefits or surviving spouse benefits or whatever, for whatever your situation is. And your next question is, but I don't know the person's Social Security number. No problem. No problem. Call Social Security and say, hey, I want to file for spouse benefits. I want to see if there's any more money. And here's the person's name. Here's their date of birth as well as I know it. And here's where they were born. And when I worked at Social Security, I've found millions of Social Security numbers with very little information. Oh, John Smith, somewhere, I think he was born somewhere in the mid 60s or, during Woodstock, around that 69ers. And somewhere in West Arkansas, and I was able to find the Social Security number. So yeah. All right. Do I need supplement plan N or G if I get AARP? Well, you don't. AARP is that retired people organization. But yeah, supplement plan NG, or that's for Medicare, so it's completely different. But AARP does have a partnership with a Medicare insurance, a Medicare insurance company that does provide Plan N and Plan G. So if you have Part A and Part B and you don't have anything else, then yeah, reach out to Chapter and they'll see and they'll talk to you about the plan that's in partnership with AARP. It's the one 30 to 40% of Americans choose that particular company. Is Medicare D going up or stopping. Medicare D, that's one of the reasons why everything is so crazy for 2025, why all these plans are being canceled and downgraded is because the Inflation Reduction Act, love it or hate it, whatever the case may be, they reduce the max out of pocket for prescription drugs from $8,000 to $2,000. So the health insurance companies are like, "Wow, we gotta eat this $6,000, so we're going to take it out of everybody." So and that's why all these plans are being canceled. And there's other stuff too. There's starting next July, you'll get a letter from your Medicare insurance company, your Medicare Advantage, that says, "Hey, you've got all these benefits, dental and vision and hearing and gym membership and all that kind of stuff. We just, wanted to let you know you've got this stuff." And up until now, insurance companies are like, they entice you with all that cool bells and whistles, but then people don't use it, like, gym membership here, New Year's resolution. Um, and people don't use it, and so they make all that money because they said they're going to offer it. They don't offer it because you don't use it. They make it difficult. But now the government said, "Hey, we're kind of paying you to, provide these other benefits, but people aren't using it. So we want you to send a letter out every year telling people they got these benefits." And the company's like, "Oh my gosh, people are going to start using their benefits." And the CEO is looking to buy another 100-foot yacht, and so we have to cut back in other places. Yeah, the whole system is anyway. Rachel, I am disabled getting SSDI, and my wife is still working. Can her earnings raise my Social Security check? No, nope. Your SSDI, your Social Security Disability Insurance, is based on your earnings. The only time SSDI is based on any other person's work is the disabled adult child I talked about earlier, or disabled widow's benefits. If you're a widower, surviving spouse between the age of 50 and 59, you can file for what's called disabled widow's benefits from your deceased spouse's record. Does chapter advise on ACA plans as well? I can't get on Medicare until April 2025, so I have a few months in ACA. No, unfortunately. Yeah. Um, yeah. ACA is, yeah, we'll see what happens to ACA. John McCain is not around anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, April 2025, you're, getting close, and the new plans for 2025 are out. And yeah, give them a call here anytime in the near future. I was going to wait to apply for Social Security benefits when I turned 70 in 2026 for the max amount, but given the current situation, I have decided to start collecting early on 2025. I'm getting that a lot. Yeah, I'm going to do a few more videos over the next few days on different proposals, and I'm going to try my best to be neutral. 'Cause y'all don't care about my personal political opinions, about all of the possible things, and also Elon Musk. The Office of Government Efficiency, and he's going to be cutting trillions of dollars. And so we'll talk about what could be cut from Social Security and Medicare to make it more efficient. Every organization can be more efficient. So I understand that will mean a lesser amount, but if down the road between this, I change my mind, can I return the money collected with hope that the monthly amount? Yes, absolutely. Good question. There's several ways you can essentially stop your Social Security benefits. If you file and then you change your mind, within 12 months, you can withdraw your application. So you call up Social Security within the 12 months and you withdraw your application. It's like it never happened. You never filed. But because it never happened, you never filed, you got to pay all that money back. So no interest or anything, you just pay it all back. The other way to stop or suspend your benefits is if you're in early retirement and you say, "Hey, next year," you start your benefits and you say, "Oh yeah, next year I'm going to be under the annual earnings limit of the 23,000." But then someone offers you an awesome job making $200,000. So you call them up and call up Social Security and say, "Hey," if it's already past the 12 months, then you say, "Hey, I'm going to make $200,000 next year," and then they hold back $1 for every $2 you go over, and therefore you just don't receive benefits for the whole year. And let me talk about the last one, and I'll talk about uh, an issue with the second one, a good issue. And the third way to essentially stop your benefits is once you start getting close to your full retirement age, you can actually suspend your benefits voluntarily. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. You stop your Social Security So you can get that 8% per year in delayed retirement credit. So you're about to be 67, you call up Social Security and say, hey, suspend my benefits. I'm going to wait until I'm 68, 69, 70. So I get that extra 8%. And then when you hit 70, you get that extra 24%. So, all right. So let me back up a little bit for number two. When you during early retirement, if you suspend your benefits or Social Security suspend your benefits and you don't get that check, what a lot of people think is, okay, I didn't get my check for January and February of 2025 because I made too much money, but when I hit my full retirement age, they'll give me that check. Yes and no. If you get 2000 January 2000 in February, but you didn't get it because you went over, they're not going to send you a check for $4,000 once you hit your full retirement age, but they will unreduce your benefits. So here's how it works. It's called ARF, not ALF from the 1980 sitcom, but ARF, the adjusted reduction factor. And it's basically if you take your benefits 30 months early, your benefits are reduced by 30 months, right? And then after 10 months, you go back to work and you don't get those checks. Once you hit your full retirement age, the Social Security computer system looks at your record and says, hey, this person is being reduced for 30 months, but they only took 10 months worth of checks. So the computer refigures it. And from that day on, that month on, your benefits are only reduced by 10 months, not 30 months. And that's 100% automatic. You don't have to do anything. So I think I have dental, but I don't know how to access it. That's why you need someone that's why I chose Chapter, because yeah, a lot of people have these plans and they sign up for them and the plans make it kind of difficult and make you jump through hoops, and you really need somebody on your team. I did a video with with Thomas from Chapter. He leads the kind of the people that help you enroll. And Alyssa leads the member success team, and I help with Social Security. So we're kind of the three amigos, the three musketeers, the three stooges, sometimes your dream team to help you through all of this nightmare. I help you with all things Social Security, retirement, survivor, disability benefits. Thomas helps you find a plan every year or plan permanently if it's a Medicare supplement. And Alyssa helps you make sure you're getting everything from them and navigate the bureaucracy. So that's why it's always good that's why I put together this team. Belinda, widow, 11 years ago, just turned 60. Okay. 6 children, oldest permanently disabled at 3 years old. Now 26, lives with me. He went on survivor benefit, adult child 26. So he was determined to be disabled before the age of 22. So he will receive survivor benefits, and survivor benefits, if for children, so for children under the age of 18 or that became disabled before the age of 22, if they're receiving benefits on their parents' record, retirement, disability, they receive 50%. If their parent passes away, they'll receive 75%. So it sounds like your child is receiving survivor benefits, so 75% of their parents' primary insurance amount. And I don't see a question in there. Your probably question came way, way, way later, which I can't see. But you're probably, since I've done this for a few million times, you're probably asking about you just turned 60, and that's your question. Yeah, so you can collect your benefits amount. Your benefit amount, if you start your benefits, is 71.5% of your deceased spouse's record, and you can start receiving those benefits at 60. But it's going to be the 71.5. You might be able to get a little bit extra if hopefully you've filed for the surviving child and care benefits. So if one of your children is receiving benefits from another parent that receive retirement survivor benefits, whatever the case may be, and you're essentially staying home to take care of that children under the age of 16 or that became disabled before the age of 22, you can collect what's called child and care benefits. And that is the 50% or 75%. And so that might be better in your case, because if you start your benefits at 60, you're going to be, 71.5%. But if you collect it as child and care, you can get benefits from survivor benefits all the way until you hit your full retirement age. And then because you're full retirement age, you switch to regular survivor benefits and you get 100%. So yes. All right. Give the man some likes. That's a good one. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes. And it, hey, I got an ego just like everybody else. I like the views and the likes and stuff like that. But that's not the important part. It teaches us these crazy computer algorithms that this is important information. It gets out to more people and people get the benefits they're entitled to. All right, Linda, I'm not claiming benefits. I take care of my mom in my home. Can I collect on my mom's Social Security without claiming my benefits? No, unfortunately. Thank you for all you do. What a great man you are. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, no, you're not able to collect unless you became a disabled child, even though you're obviously not a child, you're an adult, but that's what they call it, disabled adult child. If you became disabled before the age of 22, possibly, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. Here we go. This is what I love. I love these. Asking for my sister. So this is Laura is awesome. She's like, oh, I'm good. I'm getting everything I entitled to, I paid into, but there's someone around me that needs help. Here's what we go. Does her current job income affect her applying for survivor benefits? She's 65, not on Social Security yet. Spouse passed at 59. Yes, her income, when you take benefits early, which she is 65, so that's not early, or that is early. She's not her full retirement age. Her full retirement age is what, 66 and 6 months or 8 months or 67 or whatever the case may be. So anytime you take benefits early from Social Security, whether it's retirement benefits, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, you're subject to the annual earnings limit. So for next year's $23,400. Okay, so here's an opportunity for me to tell y'all the difference. So about the annual earnings limit and the monthly earnings limit. Okay. So if you're going to go ahead and file for benefits early, and let's back up for a month. Let's say this is October. And you're like, oh, I'm going to start my benefits in January. Oh, why are you going to start your benefits in January? Well, because I already made over the 22,000 for this year. So I can't collect benefits because I'm over. No, 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 no. Social Security can do a monthly earnings limit. So from January to September, you can make $1 billion, way over 4,000. You can make $1 billion. Social Security only cares about the month you start receiving benefits. So for this year, the first month you're under $1,860 a month and stay under that, Social Security can start your benefits. So you make $1 billion up until September. October, you're going to cut back your work or stop working. You're going to make under $1,860, so you can get your check for October, November, December. Next year, they can't do the monthly again. It's only one time, essentially. There is an exception, but I've never really seen that exception applied. But next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit. So a lot of people, particularly this time of the year, they say, yeah, I'm going to start, in January, but because I already made too much. And so they're losing a couple of months worth of benefits. So, but in her case, so if she's making over that amount, the 22,000 or 23,400 for next year, then she can receive those benefits, but Social Security is going to hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over. The year she turns her full retirement age, then those numbers pretty much triple. And it's not 23,000, it's what, 62,000 next for next year for your full retirement age, the year you turn your full retirement age. And it's only for the months before your full retirement age. And then it's $1 for every $3 you go over. We appreciate you always. These potential changes are stressing me out. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of comments about, fear mongering and clickbait and stuff like that. And I get you. I wish I wish I could report, oh yeah, they solved the Social Security crisis and there's, you're not going to get a 20% cut in a few years. Everything is good. It's good for another 100 years and it's beautiful. And you have to, and, free, ice cream and unicorns. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting, what is potentially going to happen. And people say, well, don't report it until it actually happens. And I'm like, well, then it's kind of too late. So Lorraine, at 75, I'm looking at having to get a job. Will that income increase my Social Security benefits? Another great question. All right, we're going through everything today. Possibly. So when you're, doesn't matter how old you are, 75, 80, 85, 200 and what, Marine Corps birth, 269 like me. If you work and pay into Social Security, FICA tax, you always have to pay FICA tax unless you're really, really rich and you don't have to pay it anymore. But the rest of us, suckers, I guess. Um, if you work and pay into Social Security and that's one of your high 35 years, then yes, that could potentially, well, that will increase your benefit amount because Social Security determines your benefit amount by your high 35 years of earnings, not consecutive, not just your final. If you made, $1 billion when you were 17 years old, that's one of your high 35 years. So what they do is when you file your taxes, you send that to your buddies at the IRS. Okay, not buddies. And then the IRS notifies Social Security, and Social Security looks at it and says, "Oh, Lorraine made this much last year, and over her high 35 years, here's high 35 years. Is that one of the high 30? Oh, yeah, here it's a new high." Or they throw out the lower one. Okay, that lower one, we'll throw that one out, and we'll put this new one in here, and we'll recalculate, and you get an increase. That doesn't happen immediately. So I get contact a lot of people, from in September and October, and they said, "Hey, I just got a check for $87 from Social Security. What the heck is this? Did you work last year?" "Yeah, I worked last." "Well, guess what? Your benefits are going to increase, and that $87 is back pay." So if the calculations are not finished until May, June, July, August, or whatever, they will say, "Hey, this person Lorraine gets $10 more a month." And they backdate it till January. So they give you $10 January, February, March, April, and they'll just cut you a check for whatever back pay it was, and then they'll increase your benefits going forward. So yes, and that's 100% automatic. So you can potentially get two increases every year: the cost of living adjustment, the COLA, and the PIA, the primary insurance amount increase, the high 35-year increase. So Jody, I'm 57 and disabled because of a work comp situation. I'm fully disabled per the judge. I'm told when my MSA is paid out to me, Medicare will drop me. Um, your MSA, let's see here. So, yeah, Medicare, if you're on disability, I don't see how any of that Medicare will drop you. Not sure. But if you're on disability, you get disability after being on disability for 24 months. But workers' comp, so that is when you're on disability, when you get disability from Social Security and you get a workers' comp or public disability benefit, not a private long-term insurance that you pay for or something, but it's a public disability workers' comp type thing, that offsets what you receive from disability. And basically what it is here's the logic Congress came up with when they passed this. When you receive disability, they believe you shouldn't make more when you're on disability than when you worked. So if when you worked, you made an average of $4,000 a month, but you get disability and your disability is 3,000, and then you get workers' comp, which is another 2,000. So you're getting more, being on disability, you get $5,000. So what they do is they cut it back. That's where the offset comes in. But Medicare dropping, Medicaid, yeah, that'll probably definitely drop because that's a welfare-based program through the state. But Medicare, no, I don't think so. Took away child and care 3 years ago when youngest turned 16. Yeah, okay, yes, that's correct. And sounds as though, luckily, your child is not, none of your children are disabled before the age of 22, because you can also get child and care benefits if you have a child under the that became disabled before the age of 22 and is still on disability. And there's also the work limitations for that as well. So you also have to, stay under the annual earnings limit. Donna, I am 67, been collecting my late husband's Social Security since I was 60. I was told to wait until 70 to collect mine, and it might be more. Is this true? Yeah. So It sounds like as though you never touched your own. Yeah, because you started at 60, so hopefully you didn't touch your own or start your benefits on your own. So yeah, that is 100% correct. You did everything perfectly. But remember, those benefits stop increasing at the month you turn 70. So I get contacts. I'm doing a series of video, the top 100 mistakes. I'm doing a little short. People like, oh, you talk too long, Ed. So I'm doing like 59-second video, up to 59 seconds on the top 100 mistakes and stuff. So, and this is like one of the first ones I did is, people, I'm 72 years old. When should I start benefits? I'm like, 2 years ago. So, and they can actually go back after your full retirement age. They can go back and give you a 6 month of retroactivity, unless give you more if somehow they drop the ball somehow. Should I get widows or disabled adult child in care? Should I have kept the whole time? Okay, so this is, yeah. So I think I did answer your question about a preemptive answering your question. So adult child in care, because you get 75% if it's the survivor one, right? Yeah, widows, yes. So yeah, a child in care, because it's not reduced for your age, you get 50% or 75%. But if you get regular widows, it is reduced. So yeah, child in care, and then don't touch your widow's benefit, even though the surviving, it's a surviving child in care, even though it's a surviving spouse benefit, it's a child in care benefit. So your surviving child in care benefit does not affect your just regular surviving spouse. So it actually doesn't, it's an automatic switch. Normally, the computer system, if you're receiving surviving child and care benefits, and then when you hit your full retirement age, then it automatically jumps it up to the 100%. But sometimes the computer system doesn't catch it, so it's a good idea to push the button and reach out to them sometime. Just Jeff. Hey, long time no see. I've been absent from the late. Yeah, I shared with my mom your information. She is going to be getting in touch with about medical plans. Please, community, hit those. Yes, just Jeff. Yeah, how you been doing? Got a lot of regulars here that always go out there and share. I have two boys from different moms. They both get a cut of my disability, but one boy makes more than the other. Why is that? I'm not sure. They shouldn't. Yeah, what happens if, unless the other child is receiving benefits from another person as well, and then they can kind of do combined family maxes, and it gets kind of straight. But if both children are receiving benefits from one parent, either retirement benefits or disability benefits, that parent is on a retirement disability, then what happens is, they get up to 50%, and then if there's a family max, and if only if let's say they get let's say it's 75%. So 75%, 75%. So let's say $750, but the max is only $1,000. So what they do is they take, okay, the max we can pay out to these two kids is $1,000 total. So they give $500, $500. So a family max, but they shouldn't be receiving different amounts. That doesn't make sense unless there's, one is withholding taxes or there's an overpayment or something like that. But no, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be receiving different amounts unless they're again, one of the children is receiving benefits from someone else as well. I was downgraded from a dual QMB to a partial QMB. Nothing had changed in my income, only received Social Security. My question is why? Medicaid said nothing and changed. Yeah. John Oliver last week tonight did a great story on this. I tried to use one of his stories one time and I got dinged by YouTube for using his story too much. So please, John Oliver, let me use your great story sometimes. But he did a great one on Medicaid throughout the country. They're kicking people off and it's going to get worse, I think. And some people are getting kicked off that shouldn't be kicked off. So, I would definitely appeal that to make sure everything is correct. And if it is, then yeah, that's unfortunate. Some states, each state is different. So, you could be full QMB plus, it's qualified Medicare beneficiary, qualified Medicaid beneficiary. So you could, have the full benefit in one state, but another state, not. But if you have a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan and you lose your QM, if you're partial QMB, you might still be good depending on what state you're in. But if your Medicaid is downgraded, you're also potentially going to lose your Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan with all the benefits. So, one day, next month or the month after that, you walk into the doctor and you hand them your card and they say, well, this was canceled, 2 months ago, and, pay us. So it's a good chapter. They have access to Medicare.gov, the internal website as well, and they can see what level of Medicaid you are and see if you're still eligible for that Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. And if not, they can see if they can find you something else. Since IRMAA goes back 2 years, will Social Security refund the IRMAA they collected from me? I retired this year and paying IRMAA currently. Yeah. If so, you need to file an SSA 44, a life-changing event. And again, they look back 2 years ago. You made over 103,000 or over 206,000 if you're married filing jointly, and then you had a life-changing event. You stopped working or whatever the case may be, and you just notify Social Security. And if they say, okay, all right, well, you stopped working since then, therefore, yep, you didn't have to pay the extra $100, $200 since January. Yep, and they'll pay all that back. All right, we are over an hour, and oh my gosh, and we still got way too many questions. Let me do one or two more here of someone I've never seen. Secret agent girl. My brother, 58, receives IHSS for disabled son, 21, who receives SSI. Okay, a lot of acronyms. This is probably in California. California has a great system where if you have someone that's receiving disability or aged that needs help, the state pays for someone to go in there as a caretaker to take care of that person, and usually that someone is a relative. So it's kind of win-win for everybody. But that counts as income. And if that person is receiving SSI is a welfare-based program. So I'm almost certain in your state, they're going to count that as income coming in. His wife won disability posthumously. SSA told my brother that he could get survivor benefits and IHSS until 67. Is this true? Yeah, if the child is entitled to survivor benefits, it's IHSS, that still counts as income. So you can still get those, but that income has to be under, the annual earnings limit. And until 67, you can get survivor benefits forever. So 67 is not necessarily a cutoff point. So, why are you trying to scare people? Making statements about what a Republican administration might do is speculative at best, and at worst, it's fear mongering. Why do you that politically? No, this is a Republican might do. Okay, so this is a playbook the Republican Study Committee came out with a few months ago that says this is what we will do. And they put it out, so you can go on to it. Just type in Republican Study Committee 2025 agenda. It's got a nice little American flag on there and everything. And this says, if we get into power, this is what we're going to do. And it looks as though by today they will have the House and the Senate and the presidency and Supreme Court. So I believe if y'all want that to happen, then more power to you. But if not, then you should know about it so you can support it. If you don't want that to happen, because if I tell you about it, oh, this is what they just passed yesterday, everybody's going to say is, why didn't you tell us about that before? So yeah, preventative maintenance on your car, right? Your car just blew up. Should have changed your oil 3 months ago. Okay, this will be the last question. I took Social Security at 62. They said if I get best amount on X, I just found out I won't qualify for Medicare because I worked with X and it was filed under his Social Security. Guess I'll need Medicaid. I've seen this way too many. But you, if you're able to get spouse benefits from your ex, and you're not qualified for benefits on your own record, you will also get Medicare based on those benefits. So if you're, just getting survivor benefits on someone else's record or divorced spouse benefits on somebody else's record, you get Medicare based on that once you hit 65. But yes, you do have to wait till you're 65. But Southernette, I started doing these YouTube things. My son, pulled me screaming, I don't want to do YouTube. I'm not 12 years old. And he said, you got to do it. You got to do it. And here I am. But like one of the first videos I did when I started this thing about a year or so ago, is I did one on people working together, husbands and wives working together, having a business. And accountants often mess this up because accountants and your tax person knows taxes, but they don't know Social Security quite often. And so you file taxes as your company, and you divide the money and pay the taxes, yada yada yada. But then the accountant messes up and puts all the FICA, all the Social Security and stuff, or Medicare stuff, under just one Social Security number. And that's okay if you're going to be married forever and you're never going to get divorced. But when you do, what happens is this is one of the spouses who never got anything put on their record gets nothing. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. But if once that person turns 62 and you're 62, then remember you can get benefits on that person's record as a spouse. So, all right, that's going to do it for today. And I apologize. I'm going to, yeah, a lot of, wow, a lot of questions there. I'm going to do another, I'll do another short topic tomorrow, and then I will spend as much time as I can answering questions. So I will be back again tomorrow. Y'all have a great night.